Well, good morning. Today we are going to talk about our pelvic floor core activation, how to engage those deep core muscles, and it's a lot easier than you think, and how to integrate our breathing so that those core muscles are activated in the right way. So the first thing we always start out with is our diaphragmatic breathing. So in order to start with the diaphragm, we need to talk about the diaphragm. The diaphragm sits up underneath the rib cage. When you breathe into it, it's three-dimensional, right? So it's going to fill up your entire trunk. You're going to feel it into your lower back, and most importantly, you're going to feel it really down low into your pelvic floor, okay? You should really feel that pressure of the engagement when the diaphragm is completely open. You want to try and breathe into your diaphragm as often as you can. It's a little bit harder when you're not used to it, and a lot of times if you've had a baby or if you're just used to working at a desk, we kind of lose that connection with the diaphragm, okay? So the easiest way to really start to find and connect with it again is to start on a face down position, okay? So that's the best way because you'll really be able to feel it in your belly and your lower back. The keys here are to keep the rib cage down and keep that tailbone untucked because that's going to allow you to access your diaphragm better because you'll be in proper alignment. So starting with our face down position, we're going to extend our legs, keep everything at neutral. Arms are going to be just kind of slightly bent at the elbow, hands up above the head, and you're going to rest your forehead on your mat. Now once I put my forehead on my mat, obviously you're not going to be able to hear me talk, so let me talk us through this first. First thing you're going to do is you're going to set a timer for about 5 minutes, okay? Then you're going to breathe deeply. You want to feel that diaphragm breath low, 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 and you don't want the shoulders moving, okay? Everything is happening through here and pressing down into the mat. You should feel your hip bones on the mat, but you don't want to have to tuck your tailbone under to do that. If you tuck your tailbone, you'll feel your pubic bone on the mat. I want you to feel your hip bones. So that's these bones here versus this bone here. Okay, so feel this. Okay, so feel this bone on the mat, not this bone. Okay? Setting up, put that forehead down. Keep those legs nice and neutral. Ribs are also down, so you don't want to be flared out. So I always pull my rib cage down, make sure I'm feeling my hip bones down on the mat. Good. Now I'm going to put my forehead down. We're going to breathe together. Set your timer for 5 minutes. I want you to keep breathing in connection with your timer, and I'm just going to kind of give you some gentle cues to help you with this breathing. As you get more comfortable with filling up the low belly and keeping the breath out of the shoulders, make sure the shoulder blades are always pulled down the spine, that rib cage is down. I want you to really think about using your pelvic floor and your deep transverse abdominals to kind of push that breath out and empty the diaphragm completely. So you're going to feel like you're doing a Kegel muscle, you're lifting your belly button and you're pulling it in on your exhalation. Your inhale, you're allowing everything to relax and expand, okay? So keep working with that and now trying to integrate those parts of the puzzle so that you can get a really, really good deep sense of how to activate the diaphragm, okay? So that activation of the diaphragm, as you're working through this, is going to also activate the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominals. And if you're not breathing into your diaphragm, you're not really activating those muscles. And if you're not activating those muscles, then you're having, or you're probably having, symptoms related to pelvic floor dysfunction, such as incontinence, pain, diastasis recti, mostly incontinence, that's the one I work with the most, and also sometimes pain during intercourse. So not having that good integration really can affect other parts of your life. So let's go ahead, and you're still breathing. I'm going to breathe with you for a couple more minutes, and then we're going to move on to another core integration exercise. Okay, so now that we've kind of connected there, we're going to roll over onto our backs. And we're going to connect with our diaphragm when we're on our back as well. And so here, we're going to think about a couple things that we talked about while we were on our belly. But there's more going on here because now you have the weight of your body sitting on top of you, right? So you're going to pull that rib cage down, which means that the ribs are going to come down in the front but lift up in the back. And I kind of like to do this where I actually will lift my shoulders off the ground and I will lift my rib cage up in the back and push it down in the front and then rest my head back down. And what that's going to help me do is that's going to help me feel the back of my bra strap against the ground. And I want to feel that. But then I also want to pay attention to what I'm doing down here in my hips and my pelvis. And I want to make sure that I'm not tucking my tailbone under in order to get my ribs down. And that's where things are going to get tricky for us. So we want to keep the tailbone untucked, so you should be able to place a little bit of your hand underneath your lumbar spine. But you want to be pulling your rib cage down so that the bra strap stays connected with the ground. From there, we're going to breathe just 5 breaths here into our diaphragm to make sure we're connected. At first, all we're doing is paying attention to that relaxing, so we're feeling that opening feeling through the trunk, through the pelvic floor, through the lower back. And then if we're feeling comfortable and connected, we can start with lifting the pelvic floor, engaging the transverse. When you lift the pelvic floor, you're squeezing the Kegel. When you engage the transverse, you're thinking about pulling the belly button up and in and squeezing your sides towards each other, okay? Imagine like a corset has just been pulled around your waist. I always use my hands to keep me connected with what I'm focusing on. So I want to keep the ribs down, so I want a hand here, and I want a hand down here by my pubic bone because that's where I want my breath going. And then I'm going to check in and make sure I still have some space here. I do. Good. So once we've got that engaged, that's when our big stability ball is going to come in. If you don't have one of these at home, it's fine. You can still do this movement without the stability ball. Stability ball is nice because it gives you a little bit of feedback. And I think when you're learning something new, it's important to have like a checks and balance system. And the stability ball, in this case, will really help you feel what you're supposed to feel. So we're going to lay down, and we want to get back into that position, right? You got neutral spine down here. You got rib cage pulled in. Now we're going to lift the legs. We're going to place the ball against the insides of the knees. The hands are coming in front of the ball here because what we're going to do is we're actually going to apply pressure to the ball against the knees. Again, ribs are down. And when you start to do this, you're going to start to really feel those core muscles come to life. And we're just breathing here into the diaphragm. That's all we're doing, nice big breaths. And now if you're feeling like you've connected, you got your ribs down, everything's neutral, you start to play around with a little bit of a lean to one side. Only go as far as you can while controlling those points. Ribs, diaphragm. And then over to the other side. So hang out like 30 seconds in each position. Keep those shoulders down your back, keep the rib cage down, and keep that breath low into the diaphragm. All right, well that is it for today. I want you to work on those two things, really get connected with your core, and then tune in next time and we'll kind of progress and get you moving a little bit further through this, okay?